Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our lesson today of Traveler 4, 3B, Unit 3, B Writing, page 48. I am Salman Al-Fayfi, and let's get started. Today's lesson is about writing using prompts. So, using prompts is how to write with using some notes that you have given. So, a semi-formal letter, email based on prompts. Discuss. Would you be interested in contributing articles to a local magazine? Why and why not? This is the note that is given. This is a note that is given to on the notice board. The notice board is something like this one that you see in your school for notes that you see in your school or university. So they post some notes here and asked a few things. So the notice board, the last one was about writers wanted. Writers wanted. So would you contribute? Would you participate? Would you participate in this one? And would you be interested in contributing articles to a local magazine? Interested, would you like to participate in articles in written forms to a local magazine? Would you like to do that? Why and why not? For example, yes, I would like to do that. I would like to practice writing. I would like people to see my ideas, to read my ideas, or to understand what's going on or what's happening in the field that I am writing about. Then read the announcement. This is the announcement was posted on a university notice board, on the notice board about a magazine and the notes a student of that university has made. What does he want to know more about? Okay, writers wanted. This is the title of the notice or the post that was in the notice board. Whereabouts our new university magazine. So this is a magazine, and the title or the name of the magazine is Whereabouts. So the magazine was looking for or searching for writers. Are you interested in what's going on campus? So they are asking a few questions to see if you are qualified in the beginning to be a writer. The first one, are you interested? Would you like are you interested in what's going on campus? Would you like to see what's going on campus? So campus is the land of the university. The land of the university. So it is called campus. Are you interested? Would you like to know what's happening on the campus? Do you like expressing your ideas in black and white? Do you like expressing, so saying or writing your ideas in black and white? Black and white is an idiom which means very clear, to write it clearly for people. Next, can you hold the reader's attention? Can you hold the reader's attention? When you write something on the newspaper or in the magazine, you cannot see the readers, but can you hold the reader's attention? Can you attract them to make them love what you write about? Have you got some free time? Do you have a time to write, or you are busy on something else? Then you are perfect. If you can achieve, or if you have all of these things, then you are perfect for the job. But Faisal, who is a student in the university, has wrote a few notes. For instance, when they said when it says that the magazine is looking for writers, he said, "Great." He said great, which means that he liked the idea to be a writer on the magazine. Are you interested in what's going on campus? For this question, he wrote, what topics? What are the subjects? What am I going to write about? So he is writing about what's going on campus. What topics? Is he going to write about the classes or the events in the university or the graduation ceremony? Have you got some free time? He said what? Not a lot. He doesn't have a lot of free time. He is busy in a few time. And the other question he wrote, published how often? When is the magazine, when will be the magazine published? Is it every 2 weeks, every week, or every month, or every 3 days, let's say? He wants to know a few about this. So he has to write a letter to who? To the head of this magazine, the president of the English club, President Mr. Nizar. He has to write to Mr. Nizar about the notes he wrote about them. Let's see what he wrote. He wrote this. Now read the email the student wrote in response to the announcement and underline the parts of the email that correspond to his notes above. Now, after Faisal has read the poster, what's posted on the notice board, he wrote this email. Let's read it together. Dear Mr. Nizar, I was very excited, very happy to see the announcement about the university magazine. I am very happy to see that announcement, that poster about the magazine. I think the English club needs a magazine where students can express themselves. We need the magazine to make students say whatever they want on the magazine about the English and find out about what's going on and to learn more about what's happening. I have always been fond of, I have always loved or liked writing, and I would be delighted, I would be so happy to take part, to participate or to join in this project. However, I would like to have some more information. I would like to know more regarding the magazine. So Faisal has a few questions about this one, about the announcement. For example, you say that writers should have a free time. That's what's written in the announcement. I have some free time. Faisal has some free time. Not all the time he's free, but he has some free time and the other times are busy. I have some free time, but it's limited. It's limited. So I would like to know how often the magazine will be published. How often will the magazine be published? Every month or every week? Another question I have is about the subject matter. I have a question about the subject matter, about the title. The announcement mentions what's going on campus. What's written in the announcement is what they will write about what's going on in the campus, in the university, inside the university. Does that include other things? Does that include events, ceremonies, or headboard meetings? Does that include other things besides academic events? Please let me know. Looking forward to see your reply or to your reply. I'm waiting for your email back to reply to my email. Best wishes, Faisal As-Saad. So after Faisal has wrote this, he wrote this after the notes he wrote about the announcement. So here he wrote great. He wrote great, which is when he wrote the email, he said, I am delighted, I am happy, I'll be very happy to participate. What topics? He also included the subject. He also included the subject when he said here, what subjects are we going to write about? What subject are we going to write about? And then he said, not a lot. He doesn't have a lot of free time. That's why he mentioned here his free time is limited, not enough. Also, he mentioned published how often. How often, so he must have mentioned all of these in the email. So how often, he wrote here, how often does the magazine will be published? How often the magazine will be published? So the email is sent to, the recipient is Mr. Nizar. And the sender who sent this email is Mr. Faisal As-Saad. And now, after he completed the email, let's see a few questions here. Look at the email above, the email that we wrote, that we have just read, and answer the questions below. Answer the questions below. 1. How does the writer address the person he is writing to? How did he mention Mr. Nizar? How did he mention him? How does the writer address? Address, not address. Address is a different meaning, which is the location of a place, like a house or a school or whatever. But address is a verb. How does the writer address mention the person he is writing to? How did he do that? He said what? Dear Mr. Nizar, which is formal. This is a formal or official address of writing to someone. 2, what kind of questions does the writer use to ask for information? What questions did they say? Did he mention? Are they direct? Direct questions and indirect questions are 2 separate types of questions. Direct, if you say like, what are you doing? Or what is he say? Or where are you going? Or these are direct questions. But indirect questions is like, I would like to know more about the place you are going to. I'll be delighted if you tell me where is the location of a school, for example. Did he mention only direct or indirect, or a combination of both, or both of them, direct and indirect? If we see the email, if we go back to the email, he mentioned a few questions. First, he said here, how often, I would like to know how often the magazine will be published. This is indirect question. But he also wrote a direct question when he said, does that include other things beside academic events? So here we have indirect, and here we have a direct question. So the answer is, it is a combination. It is a combination of both. So we have both, direct and indirect. 3, what style does the writer write in? What style? Is it a quite formal, or friendly and formal, or something between the two? So let's differentiate. Formal is when you write a letter to someone you don't know, like the president of the university or the Prince of Riyadh, for example. But informal letters is when you write to someone you know, a best friend or a brother or a family member. But semi-formal is something in between. You write to someone who you know, but you don't know very well. You don't know him very well. For example, Mr. Nizar, Faisal knows that he is the president of the English club, but he doesn't know him very well. So this is something between the two. It is something between the two. It is semi-formal. How does the writer sign off? How does the writer sign off? How did he finish? How did he finish the letter? When we see this, he said what? Best wishes. Best wishes. Faisal al-Saad. So this is, we have here something informal, and this is formal. So this is why we have a semi-formal letter. How do we finish with formal? We say yours, totally yours, or we say regards, or waiting for your reply. This is informal letter. Okay, so the exercise here is about direct and indirect questions. E, look at the examples. We have examples of indirect and direct questions in the email on page 48. And rewrite the questions below. So write the questions again using the words or phrases given. So if we have direct questions, we write them in indirect questions, and vice versa. Number 1, could you tell me what time the museum opens? Could you tell me what time the museum opens? So this is what? This is a direct question, and now we want to write the same question but an indirect question. And by the way, this grammar rule, you can find it in Traveler 1. And in Traveler 1, grammar 3, Unit 3. If you want to go back and check it before you answer this question. So, he wants to know more about the time that the museum opened. So, I was wondering, or I want to know, or I have, if you wouldn't mind telling me. So all of these are a way of writing an indirect question. I was wondering what time the museum opens. What time the museum opens. And so in this question, we didn't change much. It's the same question, but we started with, I was wondering. And now it is an indirect question. You can see we don't have the question mark. We don't have the question mark. 2, how much work will the project involve? I have much work in a project. So I would like to know, and now we turn this to indirect question. I would like to know how much work the project will involve. In this question, we have will before the project, the object. But in the indirect question, which is we don't have the question mark, so it becomes the auxiliary verb after the object. 3, how much does the course cost? How much does the course cost? How much money do I have to pay for this course? So I would be grateful if you could tell me how much the course, we don't use does in an indirect question, how much the course costs. How much the course costs. So we replaced does with an S for the verb. So how much the course costs. We didn't involve does, but we added S. 4, how can I get to 5th Street? How can I get to 5th Street? I want to go to the 5th Street, but how? Could you tell me how I can get to 5th Street? Here we included a question mark because it started with could you tell me, which is a part of this. 5, when does registration start? I am going to register for the course, but when does it start? So I would like to know the same in the beginning. We don't include does. I would like to know when registration starts. We add s for the verb. I would like to know when registration starts. Number 6, does the university offer accommodation? Does the university offer accommodation? I am asking for the university, do they give us a place to sleep in, like a hotel or a condo or whatever? I am interested in finding out. I am interested in finding out. So the question here is a yes or no question. So we use if or whether. I am interested in finding out if or whether the university offers accommodation. I would like to know if the university offers accommodation. Again, we didn't include does, but we added s for the verb. This is what we have about the semi-formal letter. Again, it's not formal, it's not informal, it is something in between. Something in between, something you write to someone who you don't know very well. Right? Try to write again. Try to practice writing, which will develop or improve your English writing. Thank you so much for watching today, and remember that practice makes perfect.